Let me tell you a story. When I was young, when I was 14, 15 years old at my school, our teachers were racist and they taught us to be racist.
Whoa.
Literally, we had 2 black lads in our school, 500 boys, 2 of them were black. And even our teachers racially abused those boys.
Today's guest is a well-known UK figure who built his reputation as one of the country's most respected independent watch dealers.
I used to employ a lot of people.
And later becoming a journalist, social media influencer and outspoken campaigner for social justice and change in the country.
We have a group of absolute clowns sitting on that front bench in Westminster right now.
His balanced opinion has got him in trouble from the government, both on the left and right, to the point where he had to leave the country.
They would try and convince you that I'm a far-right racist and that I hate you. The ethno-nationalists will try and convince me that you have no place in our country.
You have seen him on BBC, Sky News and the pages of The Time, but today you will get to hear from him here at the Baraka Show. So please welcome the one and only Paul Fogg. Paul, thank you so much for coming on the Baraka Show. How are you doing, sir?
I'm really good, thanks, mate. Good to see you and glad to be back. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Last one we did was instantly deleted, so hopefully this one sticks.
They probably just don't like, maybe they just don't like me face, eh?
Nah, I'm sure they do. But there's a lot to discuss. The last time we spoke, there was only one big party that a lot of people were leaning on.
Yeah.
One huge face a lot of people were leaning on and also scrutinizing, but they had no other option. Now that we're speaking today, there's multiple parties, multiple faces, and I believe you are a part of the battle as well. Not just from the speakerphone, but in the front line too. So there's a lot of things to cover here, a lot of things to unpack. Now, last time when we spoke, I asked you a question if you were gonna join, like entertain this political game that we have here in Britain, and you said that would be your last goal. And it seems like that's what you're trying to fulfill right now. How's that been going for you?
Well, obviously, since we last spoke, Advance UK, which I am proudly a member of, and also on the college, has come to exist.
That's right.
And that has really changed my outlook. I mean, at one stage, you're right, we only really had the one party to go to, which would have been a vote that you would have had to have held your nose when you put the cross in the box.
Yeah.
But now we have Advance. We have a leader in Ben Habib, who we obviously all very much believe in and trust. So I think, are you asking me if I'm going to stand at the next general election? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so we're going to get more into Advance UK, but I want to specifically speak about your political activity so far the last couple months, because you've been more vocal than ever before in terms of, calling for change. Before, you were more of like trying to spread awareness of what was going on. Yeah. You were more into like, hey, look at this, or look at here. But now you're more of like, this needs to change and this is what we're going to do and this is the man to do it. So I want to speak more on that side, and what led you to think that Ben Habib is the guy before we obviously swag into the party itself. So I want to focus on yourself first. Well, just a quick pause, guys. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but we've built a huge community here. Wouldn't you say? We have, right? Some of you guys have been here since the start, and it's so amazing every time I see your comments. I kind of know who you are. Some of you guys even have me on your profile picture. I'm like, wow, that is freaking cool. We've met and we've done all the crazy stuff that community-led journalism people do, and it's so amazing how close we've become. So if you're new to the channel, and if you've ever resonated with our message and what we're trying to achieve here, please subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, but it does help us and keep on moving forward in achieving our mission, which is very simple: exposing the corrupt policies, shedding a light on the truth, and also advocating for justice and report the stories and the news that the nation needs to know. And of course, bringing in beautiful guests like today's guest. And of course, the bigger the channel is, the bigger the subscribers, the bigger the viewership, the easier it is for us to get guests on and to also get more people on to help us grow. And that is a beautiful thing, especially being built by regular people, you and I. Thank you so much. If you're new to the channel, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Without further ado, let's get back into the video.
For me, I first met Ben, I don't know, about a year ago, and he was a very amenable man, someone that, we're polar opposites in some respects. I mean, Ben has obviously a different background from me. I'm a, sort of just a regular kid off the street from South London. Ben is public school educated. So in many respects, we're chalk and cheese, but I think the one thing that we do share, or there's more than one thing that we share, actually. We share a love for our country.
Mm-hmm.
We share a passion for all of the people that live in our country that also love our country. And we have a passion and a respect for our culture, our history, and most importantly, because Ben and I are of a similar age, it's not really going to matter to us, mate. We're going to be dead and gone by the time this all plays out in full. But we have a duty to leave our country in the best possible state that we can do. So, I believe in Ben wholly, not only as a politician, but also as a decent human being. Some people might say he's too decent to be a politician. I disagree. I think that politics needs decent people. And probably politics has been lacking decent people for far too long. For far too long in this country, people have voted for parties rather than politicians. And I think we're at a state now. You said I've become more vocal. You're right. One of the reasons I've become more vocal is that just spreading the word was never going to be enough. The country is in a worse state almost by the day. And it's certainly in a much worse position now than when I first started talking about politics, which isn't that long ago. It's only about 18 months. And we've gone from here to below the table just in that period.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to become more vocal, every single one of us, and do the best that we can possibly do.
Yeah. It's crazy how you made a point where decent nowadays, having decent people in politics is more of like, don't vote for him, he's decent. It's like nowadays, I don't know how much you are into dating, but usually they have this thing where girls like bad boys and and they tend to do, and it kind of wrecks them up. That's what we are in the country now, where somebody comes out who pours their heart, who's maybe, I should say, delicate, who's sincere in the words and the way they express themselves and in the way they try to go and do stuff. We're like, no, he's too nice. We don't want him to go in that battle. He might get hurt. And I don't know how, because that's obviously the recipe of where we are today.
Yeah. Well,
why do you think that is?
It's been a while since I've done any dating, but a few years. But no, look, you're right. I mean, people, look, Boris Johnson was a typical example. People were attracted to Boris because he had a bit of an image, a bit of a jolly sort of bounder image, And I think
like a teddy bear.
Yeah, Nigel Farage kind of has that about him to some degree as well. He likes to portray himself as the man down the pub with a pint and a fag and, having a drink with the boys. But look, we know that is not really what these people are about. Boris Johnson signed off on a huge amount of illegal migration into this country. Nigel Farage, for me, is nothing. The only word that I can use to describe Nigel without being rude is he's a pretender. He is a pretender. And I know that there are a lot of people out there that believe in him. I know there are a lot of people out there that believe that reform are the country's last chance. I would say that reform are actually represent no chance for this country. They continue to pick off the leftovers from the Lib Dems, from the Conservative Party and anyone else that fears losing their seat at the next general election and wants to keep it.
Yeah.
You know, look, I'm sure they'll have more than enough candidates to, to fight the next general election. But you've got to look at who those candidates are. This is what I say, Baraka, right? People have been voting for parties in the past. You know, my dad, bless his heart, God rest his soul, was a Labour man. He was a trade unionist.
Right.
But that was back in the 1960s and the 1970s, as far removed from today's Labour Party as you could possibly get. My dad was a patriot, a solid patriot, but he was a Labour man because he was a worker from the working class. And that was the way it was back in the day. You either voted Labour or you voted Conservative because you believed in that party. People didn't really look so much at the individuals behind the party. It wasn't who are you voting for at the next general election? Oh, I'm voting for Sid Smith because he's potentially a great MP for the Conservative Party. You would just say, I'm voting Conservative or I'm voting Labour.
Yeah.
What we're going to do is the nation has to change the way it looks at voting, and it has to look at the individual people that they're potentially voting for, not the parties, the individual people, and say, what will that person do, A, for the constituency that I live in, and B, for the country as a whole.
That's true.
And when I look at the people that Ben Habib is bringing into Advance UK, to say it's exciting is an understatement. Ben is bringing some of the finest brains and some of the finest people that I've ever known and ever met into Advance. Yes, we need to do a lot more work. Yes, we need a lot more people, but and I've used this analogy time and time again, what we're building here, what Ben is building is a skyscraper. And you don't build a skyscraper without good foundations. And
That's right.
that is what Advance UK are doing right now, putting those foundations together, because when reform implode, and I believe that day is coming, I believe that is going to come a lot quicker than we think. Just recently, Nigel Farage was interviewed about alleged racist comments and anti-Semitic comments way back 50 years ago, which I think was a bit unnecessary. Like when we were kids, we all said stupid things, right? But his answer for me showed how weak he is. He was unsure of himself. He didn't know what to say. He couldn't really look the camera in the eye. For me, did he say those things? I think he probably did. And if he's that weak over one question that he's asked to him on camera, how is he going to deal with the problems that he's going to have to face and deal with if we're going to get this country back on its feet? He won't have the courage. Like I said, Nigel, with all due respect, and it's nothing personal, he's a pretender. Ben is the real deal. That's the difference.
Yeah, I see a lot of that. But man, you did mention that the country is changing every single day. Like it's changing really, really fast. You see the budget that just dropped had everybody, thinking like, hey, what's going on? And the new numbers are coming in that a lot of young children, well, not young, but young adults are moving away from the UK, and you're thinking, man, what's in thousands, they're moving away to different countries. And when you see the people who are trying to make a better life for themselves, instantly taxed more. So the incentive to do good stuff and stay in the country is being taken away, and you are left with no choice. So to that, I agree. The country is changing in like fast paced. So with Advance UK now, a lot of people are saying this is a party that will come and basically keep the left in power, or this is a party that will come and ruin it for the right, meaning Nigel Farage, Reform UK, won't get as many votes as they're tending to get, or maybe the Conservative, they're gonna have to split the votes by like how many parties now? There's so many left, right wing party, and then in doing so, you're gonna either reward the Green Party or Labour Party, which obviously is not good for any of you guys. So what would you say to those comments? Because they do have some sort of validation to it as
Yeah,
well.
they do. I get it. But what I think we've got to look at, first of all, that the next general election is not for a very long time.
That's right.
And when that general election comes around, whether it be in 4 years, whether it be in 4 months, I mean, let's look at two different scenarios. Let's say it goes to full term. We got, 4 years to three and a
Yeah.
half, 4 years. Let's say the shit hit the fan and there was a general election in February. Then things would have to be different. We'd all have to look at each other in the eye. We'd have to have a discussion and we'd have to look each other in the face and make a tactical decision as to how we were going to vote, what we was going to do. But I go back to saying what I said earlier on, Baraka, is that it's about the candidate now. You see, the thing is, the left are in exactly the same position, probably if not worse. The left are in bits at the moment because they've got the Labour Party, which is imploding everywhere. Not only have they lost the white working class, they've lost the Muslim vote, they've lost the black vote,
Yeah.
they've lost. I mean,
Everybody.
mate, I mean, you'd be hard pushed to find a hedgehog that's going to vote for Labour, right?
Yeah.
So the bottom line is that they're in just as much trouble. You've got your party,
Yeah.
with Zara Sultana and Jeremy Corbyn, which is, I'm thoroughly enjoying. I mean, their conference over the weekend was just pure comedy gold. I mean, it was fantastic. So
Did you watch it?
Oh, mate, did I watch it? I've had it on replay. I mean, listen, I've not laughed so much in my life. My stomach's still hurting, from watching it. But then you got the Lib Dems and the Greens. They're all splitting the left vote, all of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in actual fact, they're in more of a mess than the right, if you want to call it left and right.
Yeah, I agree with that too, because there's so many. They've shot themselves in the foot for sure.
Yeah.
And especially them being in power right now, they've destroyed it for themselves. Go on.
Well, look, the bottom line is they are all at the moment battling for the sort of hard left, socialist, pro-Palestine, pro-Hamas, pro-Islamic vote, because that is so big and it's also so organised. It's a guaranteed vote, if you like. If you can get the Muslim vote on side, you are guaranteed about 4 million votes, which is not an insignificant number. Okay,
Yeah.
so and then if you add that to the regular indigenous population who are still a bit gaga, only watch the BBC, they don't watch channels like mine or yours, and they've never heard of you.
They're not
or
awake
me.
in you.
They're not awake.
Yeah.
They're still voting Labour. There's parts of Wales that will vote Labour if you dress a sheep up and put a red rosette on it. They will vote for it.
Yeah.
So
Kind of sad.
But it is. I also believe that Labour have a plan. I don't know what that plan is. I wish I did. But they cannot possibly hope to win another general election at this level of unpopularity. I mean, right now, I can't think of a more unpopular man in the country unless you start looking at some of the people that are already locked up in jail. So, how they plan. But let me go back to your question, because it's a great one. About the vote being split. First of all, right now, there's no vote to split. That's the most important thing. Secondly, I do seriously, honestly, firmly believe that between now and the next general election, Reform are going to implode. I don't believe the party is built on the right foundations. I believe it's a house of cards that will collapse very easily when the time comes. I believe Nigel Farage is a quitter. He's done it before. Leopards don't change their spots. Nigel Farage has quit before, and I believe he'll do it again. And he'll probably end up running off to America, earning £1 million a month after dinner speaking or something. Nigel doesn't need to do this. And he knows it. And I don't believe that his heart is in it. Whereas with Ben, I know that his heart is in it. In fact, his heart's probably too in it in many respects. He's taken on a huge task. But yes, look, votes will be split all over the place at the next general election. And that is why it's important that we vote for the right candidate. So I'll give you an example, Baraka, right? If Suella Braverman stays with the Tories, okay, if she stays with the Tories, I would say in her constituency, vote for Suella Braverman.
Yeah.
Let's get a good MP in. Let's get a patriotic, solid MP that believes in our people, that believes in our country, and that believes in a future for all the people in our country. So why not vote for Suella Braverman if that's the best choice in that constituency? And
That's
if that means another candidate potentially standing down, so be it. But what we need is a house full of patriots, not a house full of traitors.
Yeah.
And that is what we've got right now. Right now, Baraka, we have a house ram-packed full of Brit-hating traitors.
Yeah, you can tell on the budget it's more of because I'm more concerned with the way they are trying to, because I see it as a, obviously I'm a young person, so obviously I want to read something that impacts young people.
Yeah.
And the way they've set this thing up is going to be very, very hard for some. Let's say you just graduated and you are looking for jobs. Obviously that's a really hard thing to find now. No matter how good you are, no matter how many degrees you have, there's like hundreds of people who have exactly the same degree or probably have graduated 5 years after you and have a lot of experience waiting on the same line as you. And these taxes that they're raising and making it hard for an employer to hire them, it's just basically incentivizing them to leave the country to go elsewhere, which obviously that's evident that is happening.
Yeah.
And then when a lot of people are saying, we have more immigrants here. Well, obviously, because more people are leaving and a lot of people are planning to come here and they're being accepted because there's those people who were meant to be working here were not incentivized enough to stay here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a problem that, of course, the politicians have to deal with. But how would Advanced UK deal with that? Because that's something that nobody's addressing. Young people have to go online to rant about it for them to feel like, I've let it out.
Well, I can give you my opinion, Baraka. I can't give you the official policy of Advanced UK yet because those policies are still being written up as we speak. But what I can do is give it to you from the heart on why I believe certainly elements of this will be contained in the Advanced UK policies, I would imagine, because we all feel the same. Look, our youngsters, they do need to be incentivised. I mean, at the end of the day, without incentive, what have young people got? You have to give them an incentive. Now, when I was younger, the main goal of youngsters when I was your age and, around that sort of period was we wanted to be self-employed. We wanted to own our own business.
Yeah.
We wanted to make money. We wanted to buy a house. We wanted to get married and have kids, and we wanted to build a business and maybe have 2 cars and, all the finer things in life that come with it. A couple of 3 holidays a year, all the usual bits and bobs, right?
The good stuff. Yeah, maybe
stuff.
Travel around, Yeah,
that is why my generation, certainly, that is why we worked so goddamn hard and never stopped working, because we saw the incentives and we were allowed to work. And lover or hater...
Sorry.
That's right. Lover or hater, Margaret Thatcher gave the youngsters that incentive to work and to buy their own home. Back in the day, I could have taken you to my local bank and within a couple of hours you would have had a mortgage, for your first home. And if you couldn't pay for that mortgage, then the house got repossessed. But at least you had the goddamn chance to buy one.
Yeah.
So you have to give youngsters an incentive. An incentive to stay, an incentive to work hard, an incentive to make a better life for themselves, not an incentive to stay off of work or to leave the country.
Yeah. Which is like, I see nowadays, they have made it so easy for people to stay at home and do nothing.
Yep.
And they've made it so hard for those who are trying to build something for themselves to stay in the country.
Absolutely. Look, I mean, I know it's an old one, right? But if you want to teach your kids about socialism, if you've got a couple of kids, right, what you do is you get one of them to work hard all week sweep the floor, clean the cars, clean the garage, and at the end of the week, give the money you was going to pay them to their other sibling who's done nothing. You know, they'll soon learn about socialism, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, at the end of the day, it's all about incentivizing the people and giving them a future, giving them hope, which is something that the youngsters in our country have been missing for such a long time. Hope and something to belong to. A feeling of belonging, a sense of community, that we're in this together. If we work hard together, we can make it together.
Yeah, that's literally what a nation really means when you look it up. What it means is a sense of belonging, sense of hope, and place where you feel like this is home. And that has been taken away, and the fact that they've done. Now there's a meme. I don't know if you know, if you've seen it. I don't know how much you're online, where it's like Nick 30. Have you seen it? Where it's like Nick 30. He's working and all his taxes is going to this guy who's having 7 kids, or this old pensioner who's obviously the more pension, or this person who's came here on a school visa but didn't want to go back home and he stayed here, or this guy who just came in the country illegally, or this guy, all these things that a normal working guy, probably at age 30, working very hard, probably trying to save up to put a down payment. Yep. All this money is going to all these guys.
Absolutely.
And that's no wonder why, obviously, they're running away.
No wonder people are fed up, right?
Exactly. And that's why, obviously, we're going to get into the how fed up people really are. And obviously, some of them are like, I see some of them, I'm like, okay, that's too extreme. And I see some of them, I'm like, all right, that's reasonable to say. But a lot of people, when I did an interview with Ben Habib, a lot of the comments were like, oh, Ben is being a childish. Wow, why did he create this party, man? All he wants to do is just get back at Nigel Farage. Oh, this, and that. Do you think that is the case? Do you think this is basically like a revenge, like I'm coming to get you type of party?
Absolutely.
Because that is something that a lot of people have obviously expressed, and it's important for me to kind of like bring it up and ask you, especially if you're the member of Advance UK as well.
I'm going to be honest with you. That is ignorance. That is a lack of understanding and knowledge on their side. And that's what it is, facts. Ben Habib doesn't need this. The last thing that Ben Habib needs in his life is to be the leader of a political party. In fact, he didn't even want to be the leader. He wanted Rupert Lowe to be the leader.
Oh, yeah. He told me that on the podcast, yeah.
So it's not that he's looking after fame and fortune. He's already got fame and he's already got a fortune. He doesn't need any of that. Sure. What he wants is to save our country. And like many of us out there, we don't believe that Nigel Farage is the man to do it. I don't want to keep talking Nigel down because, look, I have nothing against Nigel Farage as a human being. I'm sure he's a jolly nice fella and, you know, a decent family man. I've got nothing against Nigel personally, but I just do not believe a word he says. I don't trust him. Would he be better than Keir Starmer? Look, mate, me or you would be better than Keir Starmer, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of people in the country would do quite well.
Half asleep, me and you would do better than Keir Starmer, right? So, you know, right. It's not really much of a comparison, you know. So, look, no, the bottom line is the answer to the question is absolutely not. This is not a revenge party against reform. This is a salvage party. We are Advance are everything that reform could and should have been. But let me take you back. Let me take anyone watching this right now, and please listen very carefully and let this sink in. The deputy leader of Reform told us that they want nothing to do with that lot. That lot is us. That's me, that's you, that's the vast majority of the working class people in this country that just happen to be concerned about illegal migration, legal immigration, which has been going on far too long at far too high levels. It's concerned about gangs that have been abusing our children. I'll choose my words carefully because I know you don't want to get your channel into trouble again, but everyone knows what they mean. And Richard Tice described us as that lot. That tells you everything you need to know about reform, whilst they are picking up one failed Tory after another. Look, if you want to vote for reform and you want the Tory party Mark II, be my guest. But I tell you now, it's not the way we're going to save our country.
It looks that way, doesn't it? Because almost even Labour's as well, even Labour retired or Labour guy who wants to give it another go, he wants to put another dress on.
Look, Nigel reminds
he's
me
just recruiting everybody.
Yeah, Nigel reminds me of the new nightclub owner who will let anyone in that's famous just so he can get a picture up of them on his wall, right? That is not the way to run our country. It's not the right people to run our country. And I believe it is going to lead to not only to disappointment, but to major disaster. Let me remind viewers once more, again, Nigel's words, not mine, Nigel Farage's own words, potentially your future Prime Minister, if you are a reform voter. He said that if they alienate political Islam, we will lose. What does that tell you? What does that tell people watching this right now? Nigel Farage is not only incapable, he is unwilling to deal with the radical Islamist problem that we have in the United Kingdom. I don't believe he's strong enough. I don't believe he has the guts. I don't believe he has the will. And I believe he has no intention of dealing with it, especially with Mohammed Zia Youssef as chairman of the party. So make your own choice, people. It's time to open your eyes and think about it.
Yeah, that so many things he said that we forgot. Which this is the thing about politics. I think politicians kind of use this to their advantage because they know things happen very fast and they know things move on quick and quick and quick. Yeah. One sentiment after another, one comment after another, one expose after another. So they just keep on just throwing stuff at you. Forget the thing I did wrong. Just throw you stuff. And to the point where now when you're quoting those stuff, I'm thinking, yeah, that did happen.
Yep.
Yeah, how did we forget this?
Yep.
No way.
Yep.
So it makes you wonder, like, shouldn't just because they're all the same. It looks like they're all the same. The way they do it is all the same. So if there's a new party that comes out, because obviously we got Reform is a new party, and they've not been, they're not old. They're not been along for too long.
Yeah,
they've not been around for too long, and somehow they're acting like the two major party in the UK. So the question is, will Advance UK do exactly the same thing? Because that's what we've noticed the past since the beginning of time, that almost every single party that comes around, start acting and doing the same thing that mainstream parties do.
Of course. Well, why wouldn't they, Baraka, when the party is full of politicians that have already had a chance to make a change and they never have?
So will Ben Abiba and Advance UK follow suit as well? Because history shows that they might.
Well, not with people, with all due respect, not with people. You see, the way Ben is building this party is quite unique. Ben is building this party so that if he did that, the college, the people behind him within the party, it's in our constitution, we can kick him out. If Ben doesn't deliver, Ben goes. And if Ben was on this stream with us right now, I'm sure he would tell you that's absolutely right. If Ben does not deliver what he promises, and by the way, let's not even start to talk about broken promises to the British people, Baraka, shall we? Because if we start talking about broken promises to the British people, let alone their own parties, we'd be here all night and all day tomorrow, because recent British history is a litany, an absolute litany of bullshit and broken promises and lies by our politicians from both sides, right? what I'm hoping is that the British people have finally seen through all this and they've had enough. And instead of electing people because of their accent and their education and their haircut and what they look like,
Yeah.
what they will actually start to do is electing people because of what's in their heart, what they truly believe in. I hope the British people start to understand that they have to start electing people that have genuine integrity and that genuinely care. And it might turn out that some of those people might look like me. They might look like you. They might not look like your average everyday politician, the snake oil salesman who has sold you the lie for decades. We might not look like those people. We might not even talk like them. We might not have the polished accents.
That's right.
But we will deliver because we promise you we will deliver. We guarantee you we will deliver. And if we don't, our own party will remove us. So there'll be no broken promises from Advance UK.
So it's more democratic from the moment somebody votes to the moment to the point where you can remove the person at the very top. So there's not like I own this party and everybody's just voting and I'll choose if I want to leave or not.
Absolutely. I call it the People's Party. And
yeah, that's pretty beautiful.
Yeah, I call it the People's Party because it does belong to the people. It genuinely belongs to the people. And I can tell you now, look, I'm 65, my next birthday. I've never, ever, ever seen anything even closely, even remotely that looks anything like Advance UK. This is unique. It is the country's biggest and best opportunity of a political lifetime. And the only thing that will stop us, is apathy from the general public and the absolute evil and wicked and corrupt actions of the mainstream media who have basically ghosted the party. Ben Habib was a regular on Talk TV and GB News. He was a favourite, one of the most popular, one of the most requested, probably the most respected politician on both channels that has never appeared since the day he announced Advance was launching. Because these TV companies are in the pockets of other people. So I asked the nation again, I asked everyone watching out there now who maybe enjoys watching Talk TV and GB News. I watch it myself with a pinch of salt, I might add, but of course there's not much of a choice, is there really? I ask you this, are those the type of people that you want to trust? Are these the type of people that you want to elect? Again, controlled opposition.
Yeah, probably not. If I wouldn't vote for somebody who shuts other person's ideas down. That the reason why we have all these great thinkers and all these people that we look up to is because they had competition that made their ideas evolve to what it became, what it is today. If they just dictated, when you read Albert Einstein's story, you see that he was not just a genius sitting there by himself. He was motivated by other stuff and challenged by others onto making his idea great.
Yeah.
So if somebody's shutting Ben Habib down because he has an idea, well, I want to look at his idea. I want to see what he has. Maybe his is better than yours, right? That's the only thing that would, that'll come up.
It's not just crazy; it's corruption.
It is, and I think it kind of destroys what we know as democracy itself. The whole point of democracy is that you have everybody in the same line and you blow the whistle and you just wait to see who wins. You don't shoot somebody in the foot and be like, you're not going to run right now. I'm going to blow a different whistle for you.
Absolutely. I mean, mate, listen, let me tell you something. It's funny you say that. I mean, look, you asked me right at the top of the show, or we spoke about your party conference, Jeremy Corbyn and Zara Sultana's lot. I've sat and watched the whole thing.
That's right.
I want to hear what these people have got to say.
Mm-hmm.
You know, let them reveal themselves for what they are, a total and utter mess. Great.
Mm-hmm.
Put them on GB News this afternoon. Put them on the BBC. Put them on the front pages of newspapers. Fabulous. Let the public make their own minds up what these people are all about. So why do they hide Ben Habib? I tell you why they hide Ben.
Why?
The same reason that they hide Tommy. They're scared of the truth. They don't want the truth. The truth is a lot more frightening and a lot more difficult to deal with in the case of the UK right now. The truth is a very complex situation to have to deal with.
Yeah. It
So
hurts.
you're better off doing what the kids do. You know, you kind of hide behind your hands and peek and hope that it's not there. Right?
Yeah, hope. Yeah.
And that's what they're doing.
But it's very sad because it's here, you know. No amount of hope will take Ben Habib away, I assume.
Listen, Ben is the man of the future. He's still a relatively young man. He's still got maybe, you know, another 15, maybe 20 years in politics left in him. And he is an amazing opportunity. But politicians like Ben don't come around very often.
I think they do, but they kind of get hidden and pushed away before the public gets to recognize them.
Well, maybe, Baraka, but the only thing where I would disagree with that is that I think there are a number of Tories, for an example, who I think are potentially good prime ministerial material, but they're not brave enough to step up and set up their own party and take it forward, and they're comfortable. They stay in their comfort zone. I mean, I'm gonna say it. You know, look, I really like Suella Braverman. Why is she still with the Tory party? Why? And I'll tell you why. Because she wants her seat.
She does not want to go and walk alone after the meetings.
She wants
after
her
the
seat.
parliament.
Yeah. And
she'll lose a lot of friends.
She will. You know, I mean, and I'm going to say this as well. This might upset some people. Rupert Lowe. You know, I like Rupert, but come on, Rupert, where are you? What are you doing? Come and join us over at Advance. What are you doing? Messing around. Either you're with us or you're not. You're not going to save the country as one man. You need to join forces with us, set up, you know, and come and join us and do the right thing. But so it takes a lot of courage. Yes, there are a lot of good politicians up and down the country that mean well, that have the right views, but very few of them have the courage, the sheer guts to do what Ben has done. Not only that, Ben come and stood on the stage at the United Kingdom rally.
I see. Yeah.
That was a big move for Ben.
Very, yeah.
A very big move. And as he said, you know, him being on that stage wasn't necessarily a full endorsement of everyone else that was on that stage. What it was showing his support for that lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very, for today's time, very dangerous move for a politician to make. There's one man where a politician can't even name unless they're criticizing that one man.
Yeah, exactly. And we all know who that is, you know. And, you know, so Ben was very brave. But, you know, look, men follow leaders, right? People follow leaders. And, you know.
But why do you think Rupert Lowe is not with Advance UK? Because I tried to get this from Ben, but he didn't really. I don't think we had enough time, or maybe we didn't get to it in the conversation. But I kind of hinted to want to know, like, what's Rupert Lowe doing?
Well,
but he gave me
I
more
can't
like
speak for Ben. I can't speak for Ben. I speak for myself.
But what do you think? Why Rupert Lowe hasn't joined yet?
Ego.
You think?
I think so. I do. I can't think of another reason. Why would he not join?
Do you think? Because for me, looking from the outside, I just seeing what he's been doing. It looks to me that he wants credit, and he wants to be the guy who will be praised for what he's been doing, and he wants to share the whole pie, basically.
That's ego. So that's what I think the problem is. I mean, you know, come on, Rupert, be a team player. What's more important? You know, the biggest we've got the biggest prize at stake here in history, the prize being our country. So come on, Rupert, you know, we all like you, Rupert. We all respect you. You know, you say the right things. You have a lot of support. And, you know, look, I'm in Rupert's corner, but I'm going to be straight. And I'd tell him to his face if I had the opportunity, Rupert, you need to put everything else down and come and join us. That is my view.
Yeah, because he's been doing a lot of things by himself and he's been getting credit to his name. But that does not do as much as joining a big force.
Of course not. And that's why I said to you, my friend, that's why I said to you, when you said about there's a lot of brave people around, not brave enough. For me, they're not brave enough. Ben has shown that he has the heart of a lion, and he's prepared to give it his all. And he needs some backup here. He needs some backup from the right people. He needs people to come and join, people to come and stand, people to come and stand next to him. We're in the trenches here together.
Yeah. We're in the trenches, man.
We're in the goddamn trenches.
Yeah, and they're blasting bullets around, and you can't peek out. It's very dangerous out here.
Exactly. We need support from all of the strong, true patriots. We need support from people who are leaders. But for me, that's just my own personal opinion. Again, it's nothing against Rupert whatsoever. He's doing some good work. You know, I support him. But I'm just very disappointed that for me, he's not looking at the bigger picture.
Yeah, I kind of share the same sentiment, to be fair. There's a lot of things here I wanna discuss with you, but I fear that we won't have enough time. As most of my guests, we never have enough time. I would want to sit like for 2 hours straight. But okay, so let's try and get to all of them quickly, because last couple months, my viewers have been telling me, "Hey, go outside," and even young Bob is telling me, "Hey, Barak, come outside." And obviously, we've been outside. I think one time I went out with them to do this sit and debate, and we did that. And I've been going outside, speaking to a lot of young people, a lot of people outside, sitting and debating or standing and talking to random strangers. And it looks to me we have a lot of socialists in the country right now. I've never interviewed these people, but I'm noticing that there's so much socialism among maybe just Manchester, but among a lot of students, I have to say. And when I did my research, I noticed that of all the teachers, if you find 18 teachers in school, one of them is a capitalist, and all of them are socialists or Marxists.
Yeah.
And that's why you've seen a lot of young people are able to turn up to the marches with pro-Palestinian flag, because that's what the teachers are teaching.
Exactly.
That's what the teachers are doing, the socialism list.
You're right. I did a video on it a couple of weeks back saying that, you know, these youngsters, to some degree, as tough as it might seem, actually need a little bit of sympathy from the older people, the older generation, because these people didn't get like this by accident.
Yeah, that's what the reports are saying, that if you find 18 teachers, so 18 to 1, how can you win that?
Let me tell you a story, Baraka. Let me tell you a very interesting story. When I was young, when I was 14, 15 years old at my school, our teachers were racist. They were racist. And they taught us to be racist.
Whoa.
Literally, we had 2 black lads in our school, 500 boys, 2 of them were black. And even our teachers racially abused those boys. So where do you think that people of my generation got their racism, if that's what you want to call it, in our younger years? Where do you think we got that from?
From the teachers.
From the teachers, right? From the TV. Right. Earlier on, I was looking at a clip from 1970s television. It was a program called Love Thy Neighbour. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Love Thy Neighbour. We got it in the Bible, but I've never seen that TV show.
Okay,
yeah, no.
So check it up on YouTube. Love Thy Neighbour, right? In fact, what I'll do is at the end of this video, I'm going to send you a clip from Love Thy Neighbour. This comes from a period when I was about 14, where my teachers were racist, where the TV was racist, and that was what was being taught to us. So what were we at 13, 14, 15 years old? Most kids were racist back in the 70s because that is how we were brought up. And it was only through education, experience, learning that these things were wrong, that we grew out of it. And we actually thought, hey, do you know what? This is mental.
Mm-hmm.
Calling that person that and abusing them is utterly wrong. And you learn that as you grow older, and you are re-educated as an older person. Look, this is spitting facts and truth here, right? Whether people like it or not is a different thing, but this is the truth. So these kids today, we've got precisely the opposite happening today. Precisely the opposite. We've got these kids today being taught to hate Britain, to hate the UK, to support pro-Hamas views, to hate Jews, etc. All of those things are being taught today, just the same as we were being taught to be racist towards black people, towards Asian people, when we were at school back in the mid-early 1970s. Thankfully, thank God, we grew out of it and we progressed.
Yeah, I think one thing about being racist or having any sort of stereotype towards a group is just once you get to speak to that person or a person of that group in particular, you kind of get to know that hey, they also have feelings. They also bleed, and
of course,
they also get hurt, and then you start recognizing, hey, there's a lot of them in that area. If I was to go there, I wouldn't want somebody to treat me how I'm treating them while they're here.
Mate, so the bottom line is we were being abused.
Yeah, and I think the kids today are being abused because when you talk about socialism, I mean, I was listening to Zara Sultana here. A lot of young kids in the room. I have to say, most of them are like 18, 19, 21. These are the people who are campaigning for them, right? And she's calling out there. She's like, hey, we're going to destroy capitalism. We're going to bring in socialism. I'm thinking, so the teachers and every single institution is working towards this new ideal.
Those kids are 18, if you can call them kids at 18. What it is, they're being groomed.
They are.
They're being groomed just the same as we were being groomed when I was an early to mid-teenager. My whole class was being groomed to believe in certain things, okay? And that is why I think that these kids are like the way they are, because they are being groomed by extremists. We were being groomed by extremists when we were younger. And it's not until you get older and you're mature enough to make up your own mind and realise that what they were teaching you was a load of old bullshit that you get your head around the truth.
Mm-hmm.
The bottom line is you have to meet somewhere in the middle, right? Because now what we've got is, and again, this is going to get a bit deep, so I hope you've got time to bear with me, right?
No, I got you, bro.
We have got an unfortunate rise in ethno-nationalism that just should not be there and has no place within our movement, and it has no place within our society, and I'll tell you why. Because the left just will not listen, just like Brexit. The vast majority of people that voted Brexit didn't particularly want it or need it in their lives, but they voted for it because the left kept telling them they were fascist and Nazis and racist, and they thought, no, it's up yours. We're going to vote Brexit. We're going to get out, and we're going to try and resolve illegal migration this way. The left didn't listen. The end result was Brexit. Now the left are not listening, and what they're getting, what they are inventing, what they are nurturing is a rise in ethno-nationalism. When will they learn? When will they learn that listening, discussing and resolving a problem fairly, clearly, nicely, professionally is a far better way than just shutting everyone down. I mean, even you've been called a racist, a fascist. I've seen it
Yes.
with my own eyes.
So many times, yeah.
This
Yeah,
is how,
especially outside. Yeah. That's why I was like,
Baraka, this is how dumb these people are.
yeah.
And they would tell you, they would try and convince you that I'm a far right racist and that I hate you. And
Yeah.
they'll try and convince me, the ethno-nationalists will try and convince me that you have no place in our country.
Yeah, and they are very, very reactionary. Like the reaction is so, because I see a picture of a kid. I think it was maybe an Asian kid or something. Ah, on the speaking on an ethno nationalism, because I've had them on the show, because I'm up to having every single person on the show.
Yeah, good
I
on you,
want
mate. Good
the
on you.
far left, yes, I want that person. The
Bring them on.
far right, I want that person. Yes, bring them on. I had Ayub Khan on literally last month. I had all the Muslim guys, the Muslim brother, not the Brotherhood, but the ones who are advocating for more of Islamic type of ideology in the UK. I've had them on. And it's always fun to listen to them because you're like,
you learn. Let them reveal themselves, right? Let them reveal themselves.
It's always fun. If you know, I don't know if anybody has noticed, but every time when I interview one of these guys, I always just let him talk because it's more fun just listen in. I don't want to interrupt. I just want him to talk. And at the end, I just want to question them. Then they start recognizing what they were saying is all like, they don't even believe it themselves. So you can tell they're being, indoctrinated to the max. But when you speak to because I had a guy on called James Goddard. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's one of the guys who are very, very like he wants to kick everybody out of the country. He wants the UK to be only white type of country, and he just want anything that's not white. He hates it. So I've had him on, and obviously he told me that he will deport me as well. I was thinking, okay, we went back and forth, and then I also have the left on, and they are very like kids. I'll say, where like a young girl, like I would probably say like my niece, very. And if it is very delicate, I would say, very easy to exploit in a way where if somebody was a bad person, these guys would literally put themselves in danger because they are on they want to take care of people and all these things. And you could tell one thing. There's two things that align between those two groups. Is one of them is that these guys just react to anything. They don't have any sort of concrete evidence in what they're saying. They don't have any data towards what they're saying. And because when you meet a ethno nationalist of like the one who are like fully done, like fully gone, there's no way you can like fix it for him. He will say random stuff, and he will bring up some stuff and tell you theories, and you're like, okay, do you believe that theory has been debunked and it's not true? And he will keep on saying it like it is. Same thing on the left. So how are we gonna fix that? Because that's dangerous on both sides.
Yeah.
Because
well,
if we have
extremes never work on either side. That's the bottom line, right? I think what you have to do is accept that all sides and all stories may have certain points and certain aspects that you can go, okay, well that's you got a point. Right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
For an example, we talk about ethno-nationalism, and I have to be very careful how I word this because people will try and twist them. But let's use countries that are easier to use as examples. Do I believe that Japan should remain predominantly indigenous Japanese? Yes.
Yeah.
Do I believe that India should remain predominantly indigenous Indian? Yes. Do I believe that Pakistan should remain predominantly indigenous Pakistanis? Yes. But if I say that I believe that the UK should remain predominantly indigenous British people, then you're classed as a racist, which is a bit crazy, So look, the way that you resolve this is by listening and by negotiations. You don't solve anything by looking at people and screaming fascist, Nazi,
Yeah, yeah.
calling, what do the left hope to resolve? Here's a question for you. When you go and interview these people and they say they won't speak to you because you're a fascist and you associate with Nazis,
Oh,
right?
yeah, that guy.
How do you begin to try and communicate with those people? You can't, because they're
Yeah,
gone.
you can't. You
They're
can't. You
gone.
can't. Unless you are the Baraka 2.0, which is coming very soon, where we got made up and we were very old man. I
Hey,
have to say.
Baraka, you're not whitening up there, mate, are you? Because if you're whitening up, I'm going to call you a racist.
No. I didn't want to do that because I thought maybe that reaction might be prompt from the viewers. But
That's
I
funny.
remained a black man. Yes, I still remained and identified as a black man. Correct. But an older version of me, fully made up, fully everything, and we still got the conversation.
I
So
love that. I love that. I tell you what, listen, mate, I go back to what I said from the very first day I started talking about politics. I don't give a goddamn shit what colour people are. I care about the colour of their heart, right?
yeah,
And,
because
I want to see people living in our country with red, white, and blue in their heart. And straight away from the first day that we ever met, right? You're one of those people,
yeah, I
you
think
know?
the first day we met it was at Raleigh where we shook hand and we took each other's numbers and everything was great since then. And of course, obviously, I believe we still disagree on some stuff, which obviously that's normal. We're human, right? We don't
Yeah.
just.
It
I
doesn't
disagree
mean
with a
we're
lot of stuff
enemies.
that.
It
Yeah,
doesn't. It
exactly.
doesn't mean that we scream and shout at each other or refuse to
Yeah,
speak about things together.
yeah. Actually, it prompts us to talk about to each other. It prompts us to actually speak to each other more than ever before because I'm like, hang on, I disagree with this, Paul. Look at
Yeah,
this. Look at this.
yeah,
So it's more of that type of environment where I think when I think I hit you up a long time ago. I asked you for advice in terms of like growing the channel. I think it was like maybe I think February, March when we spoke on the phone. So uh, that's what you have when you're trying to have this when you're trying to have a relationship and make it intense to the point where you can challenge each other and help each other grow in whatever uh thing that you're doing.
yeah.
Obviously, for us, it's YouTube. So I wanted to see any sort of advice you can give. And I talk to everybody about that, and I don't really care what color they are, white, yellow, England. No, I literally speaking to. I think you know this, Wendell Daniel. I speak to him
Yeah,
all the time.
yeah.
Like, yes, bro, what are you doing? What's going on? He's telling me the stuff, and he's giving me ideas and
He's a good lad,
advice, and which
Wendell.
is yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah,
Now, you spoke about democracy, yeah, and when you have these big people in elections where they are able to put so much money into it, meaning in this sense, obviously with GB News and Talk TV, where they can literally oust one member who used to appear all the time, which is obviously Ben Habib. Do you think that should remain the same for the next what in the future, where one guy can just shut down the means of communication from another party to stop them from advancing their idea to the potential voter? Do you think that is still a democracy? Like, because I kind of feel like it's kind of now you're kind of pushing the line. Do you get what I mean? Am
I
I?
do.
Am I?
I do. Thankfully, we have laws in this country that prevent that from happening. In the respect that when Advance UK finally are granted, full political party status by the Electoral Commission. If there was an election, then the media are duty bound to give them a percentage of airtime. So that wouldn't necessarily happen, and it wouldn't be allowed to happen. However, I think more importantly, we have to look at the way the media, particularly the left-wing media like the BBC, Sky TV, and I would now describe the BBC as hard left. When you look at what they're doing, is political brainwashing. It is gaslighting of the nation, and I wouldn't put anything past this Labour Party. And I think before we go, we must not forget, and we should speak about the damage, both short, medium, and long term, that this Labour Party is doing to the country. I have never known in my life, outside of countries like, I don't know, Argentina, some countries in South America, certainly some countries in Eastern Europe that have had a government that is as, what's the right word, corrupt, tyrannical as the government that we have in now. This is an international embarrassment.
Yeah, I agree with that.
We have a group of absolute clowns sitting on that front bench in Westminster right now. These people, I tell you now, I'm a former employer. I used to employ a lot of people, right? There's not one of them that I would employ. Not a single one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Not just because I don't think they're very clever, but because I just think they're horrible people.
Yeah, and I don't think they have good ethics as well.
Exactly. And I would trust none of them as far as I could throw them. And what you've got here is you have a collection of losers. If this was a football team, you've got a team that's going to get relegated.
Yeah. They're gonna be not even professional, semi-pro relegation.
The entire squad needs to clear out.
Sunday league.
The manager needs to go. The fullbacks need to go. The midfield needs to go. The strikers can't score. They are pony. Right?
Yeah, and probably change the name afterwards so they can get a little bit of reputation.
Even the stadiums fall into bits.
That's right. Yeah, I don't know how politicians win upwards though. How does that work? Because if you and I lose or make a wrong decision, we're done. Like we're done. Like probably lose the house, lose the car, lose the stuff. But when politicians lose, they get promoted. They're like, hey, here's the next promotion. You're gonna be a home secretary now. Or you're going to be foreign secretary. What?
This might be a bit different this time because the deliberate damage that these people are doing to the country, the lies that they have told, goes beyond, we had to change our mind. Things were a bit different. Things were worse than we thought. That, they're talking about, the black hole is the big one, right?
Yeah.
When everything is finally revealed and unveiled of what these people have done, I honestly believe there could be criminal charges. I really do believe that.
That's going to be.
And I would love to see that happen because these people have a lot to answer for. What they've done to us as a people, what they've done to our country, what they've done to the mental health of the nation. Particularly the elderly, the women, children, who are now frightened to go to the park. I know women who no longer take their dogs for a walk.
Yeah.
What they have done to this nation is, without any shadow of a doubt, a crime. And when a crime has been committed, it needs to be answered.
Yeah, investigated, yeah.
It needs to be investigated and it needs to be looked into. And if illegal activity has found to have taken place and they need to be brought to book. I said it in a video the other day. Look, if you facilitate, orchestrate a crime, that is a crime in itself.
Yeah, you're a part of it, yeah.
It's aiding and abetting.
Yeah, if you conspire with it or anything.
You've conspired. Whichever words you want to use, they all fit. If the cat fits, these buggers can wear it.
Yeah, that's right. And speaking of that as well, because here's one thing I think with that I don't see much in the UK. Because I go to our old church, right? My church is very old. I'm like the youngest. Because I moved away from my parents' house 2 years ago. Actually, 3 years. Yeah, so I've been going back and forth to different places. So it's actually been longer. But I usually get an apartment for like 12 months and I get someone else. But hey, I like this place. This place is like lovely. I wouldn't mind staying here for the next couple of years. Yeah. So over here, I go to our nearest church, very old church. Most of the people that live are like retired. They're done. Their kids are like old enough to have their kids as well. So so the church I go to, a lot of old people, a lot of old folks. average age, I'll probably say 60s. Most like 80 need help. So I'm
Yeah,
like the youngest one there, and what I see and what I feel there is like a sense of belonging, a sense of like coming together. Everybody knows who's who, and it's very sad because a lot of them are obviously because they're old. A lot of
yeah,
them are dying, so it's like one passed away here, and we're like, oh man, and it's all like there's a community. We're looking after each other. I mean, I received it last Sunday. I received a. Where's my Christmas card? I received it's right over there. So
yeah,
I receive all these Christmas cards. They're like, hey, Barack, next week we're doing next 2 weeks we're doing a Christmas dancing act, and I'm gonna be one of the actors, and we're gonna do all these cool stuff, and it feels like we're together and stuff. And even Saturday they have something going on,
yeah,
and I was speaking to one of the guys. He was saying we can't get young people in. It's very difficult to get young people in. I was thinking, why? It's because apparently the church has not evolved enough and redone itself to attract young people, because we're old, so we're not doing all the fast moving stuff where the
yeah,
music and stuff.
yeah,
We're
yeah,
more like, everything's moving like slow and slow. So kids don't come, and you're the only kid that comes, and we hope you stay for long. I'm like, yeah, I'm not here to come and dance. I'm here to the, to have a sense of belonging with you guys as
yeah,
we are taking the word of Christ. Now, that's one thing we've lost. We don't have a sense of belonging and duty. Because when I see in the church, everybody has their own their responsibility to contribute to the church, the responsibility to look after another. There's an older, if the one person is older than the other, the younger one will take care of them. We'll make sure they get coffee. We'll make sure they do this. We'll make sure they're seated well. We'll make sure they have because there's like manual stuff that we get before the service starts. We'll make sure all that is in place for each other in the church. But when you come outside, there's no sense of like, how's John doing? How's David down the road doing? We barely even talk to each other. There's not any sort of like,
yeah. No
you never
follow
really
up.
know if your neighbor is sick or not.
Yeah,
But before, long time ago, when you hear stories, it used to be that way. People used to talk to each other. But now it's like, don't even look at me type. Don't even walk past my garden. If you're standing next to it, I'm going to call the police because my ring bell alarm is letting me know that you're standing next to the house. And we're becoming very alienated and very separated, which is kind of scary in the next coming years to come, because the younger generation is even worse.
yeah, yeah. I
How
think
can we fix that, Ben? How can
uh,
we fix that, Paul? Like, this is a
it's
big problem.
it's tough, but I think that without going into it too deeply or overthinking it, I think technology has a lot to do with that.
Mm,
People, even back in my day, and look, we're different generations, but I mean, we're both still alive at the same time, so we're not that far apart, right? I mean, we're
that's
not
right.
talking about your great great grandfather, right? Back in my day, and many people watching this right now, if you wanted to speak to someone, you had to go and knock on their door.
Yeah,
If you wanted to
yeah,
go and see your
I'm
mate
sure.
in the flats across the road, you went and climbed up the
Check in.
stairs and check in, right?
Yeah,
We live in a different world. We live in a world of WhatsApp and email and instant messaging, so that is going to have an effect on that. I understand what you're saying. I think from a community viewpoint, I was thinking about it only this morning, when we used to sing hymns every single day of our school when I was at primary school, 5 years old, every single day we'd have assembly and sing hymns.
sick.
I think that brought us together. It gave us a sense of belonging. But of course, all that's missing now. My grandchildren don't even know what a hymn is. They actually do because I've taught them. But if it
Mm,
wasn't for me,
mm,
they wouldn't even know what a hymn is. They'd
yeah,
say him and her.
him and her.
They'd have no
Yeah,
idea
that's
because
right.
they don't sing hymns at school anymore. They're not
Hmm.
taught. They're not talk about. They're not taught about their Christian culture and their
That's right.
background.
Mm,
And they have other cultures forced down their throat by the previously aforementioned hard leftists that are grooming them to hate themselves and hate the country that they live in.
that's right.
So we go back to the grooming, like I was groomed, the kids of today are also being groomed at the other end of the extremities.
Yeah, I think you are right. Technology has a lot to contribute to this, but the sense of there used to be more of like this, like a, if you're born to this land or if you are living here, you have a sense of duty to provide and
Yeah,
take care of one another.
yeah.
That has been taken away by miles.
Well, we have no pride, mate. We have no pride in ourselves anymore. How pride has been beaten out of our younger generations. It's been literally beaten out of them. They're downtrodden. They're confused. They have no sense of belonging. Honestly, I feel sorry for the kids of today. I know that sounds terribly old, but I do, because they are being brainwashed at school and at college. They don't leave school and college with a sense of belonging or a sense of
Duty.
duty, a sense of community, a
Yeah.
sense of belonging, a sense of needing to contribute to other people's. I go back to the budget this week. Now, I think she made a right pig's ear of it, but there is also another side to it. We do have a duty to take care of people who are less fortunate than ourselves.
That's right.
But at the same time, we can't have the piss taken out of us. We can't allow people to come here from Afghanistan or wherever with 6 kids and then sit in a house that's given to them living on $4,000 a month that's given to them. It's not right. It's not fair. It's not right.
Yeah.
And it's not going to encourage community spirit. All it's going to breed is resentment and anger.
Yeah, true. And there's a lot of that today, and
Too much.
and
Yeah.
on both of the side as well, which is obviously kind of scary. The temperature needs to be, kind of be brought down, but this budget just made it even worse because she picked a side and she rewarded the people who do nothing, and she attacked and removed the incentives for those people who are working very hard. And even because the reason why I brought this question up is because obviously the church yesterday, Sunday, and also because when I was growing up as well, uh, I kind of had a little taste of that, of sense of belonging, community, and all these things, because there was a lot of parks when I was growing up. There was we were encouraged to go to parks and play. We were encouraged to to probably go and not like, because I used to play football. You just wake up, you pick up your ball, and you just and you go, and somehow you're gonna have. There was no any sort of timing, so there was no like, hey, be here at 4 o'clock. There was none of that. You just pick up your ball and you just know your friends, or somebody will turn up who you're gonna play with. That's what it was.
And if you didn't know someone, you threw the ball and they kick it back and off you go.
That's so you did as well. So that was really cool. But today I went back home. I went back to my parents' house early, this weekend, as it was my sister's birthday. So I went over there, and the park that I used to play on is being closed, and it does not open unless you book it.
Wow.
That park used to be a park where I spent most of my time after
terrible.
School.
Yeah, that's terrible.
And if you look at all the parks, I think 11% of all parks have been closed. I mean, why?
Mate, listen, we could be here all night on this stuff. Look, one of the reasons right now is that, look, I went mad in a video a couple of weeks back about parks. I mean, look, parks should be a place of refuge and of safety and of happiness for our youngsters, dog walkers, the elderly. Parks should be a refuge for anyone that wants to go there and relax, have a picnic. Yeah. But mostly it's there for the kids. Go and play on the swings, go and have a game of football.
Yeah.
Our parks are being invaded by illegals who want to sit in them, take drugs, eye up the young girls, eye up the kids, take pictures of the kids, do all sorts of things that they shouldn't be doing. Not all of them, of course.
Yeah,
but
I've seen those videos.
Yeah, there's video. This isn't. If anyone's watching this now, thinking, "Oh, listen to this bigot," well, just go and look at the evidence for yourself.
Yeah, there's videos everywhere.
Would you want your 15-year-old daughter, or your wife and your 5-year-old daughter in a playground that's full of grown men that you know nothing about, could have murdered hundreds of people back from wherever they came from. I mean, I don't know if you saw the video the other day of the AY audits took it, of the nutter that was screaming like he was completely bonkers in a kid's playground.
Yeah, I seen it. There was like 10 of them, I think.
Yeah, 10 of them. I mean, what the hell?
And
Would
just
you
sitting
would
there
expect-
smoking, and they were playing music, and I think there were 2 kids swinging, probably terrified, thinking, "Hey, is this gonna be my last swing or something?"
Yeah, I mean,
And
it's
these
just,
guys are shouting, and you're thinking, and that was early in the morning because these guys are not doing anything. They're not working.
Yeah.
They're not sitting there looking at the calendar like, "Man, damn, it's a busy day today." No, they're just working up and be like, "All right."
Well, the
let's
left
go."
would say the left's answer to that would be, well, let them work, right? But if you let them work, they're taking someone else's jobs. They're lowering the value of the workforce, which has a knock-on, ongoing effect to every single person that lives here, no matter what colour or race or religion you are. It has a detrimental effect.
Yeah, true. And one thing, which is the worst thing, is that incentivize others to come.
Absolutely, of course. It's a very good point. It does incentivise others to come. So, you know, look, the bottom line is these people shouldn't be here. They should never be allowed in. And when if they do get here, they should be stuck on the first plane or boat back and send them back where they came from. There are no wars in France. There are no wars in Ireland. There are no wars in any of the countries that the United Kingdom borders with, bar the sea. We can safely send them back to a place of safety.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, Daniel Tomo has shown us that there's not that the job to stop these guys is as easy as just turning up there and literally just stopping them. There's a lot of things I want to cover, but obviously, I think one more question, which we had on the last podcast. One question. So the last question was more of like, if you would entertain this political sphere that we have in this land, and obviously you said yes, and that was that you would run for parliament. So I want to ask you that same question again, because it seems like that is becoming more evident than ever before, because there's more proof that might occur. So is that where we are still today, or you're just
Well, look, I have to be realistic. Look, I now live in Spain, so I obviously can't run as a member of parliament when I'm living in Spain. So I'd have to come home. That's the first thing, which is not out of the question, or, you know, it is something that I want to do eventually. The other thing is I'm 65, coming up 65, and if there's not another general election for, say, 4 years, I'll be 69, which is pushing it for as an MP. But it might not last that long. The bottom line is, if I was called upon by the right people, if Ben said to me, Paul, I want you to stand, I would say yes. I would not push myself forward. I don't think it's my job to push myself forward, but if I was needed, if my country needed me, I would be there. But I want to, if I did do that job, I would want to be one of the most active, the most vocal MPs that ever entered the House. And I want to make sure that I've still got the youth and the energy to be able to do that would do myself credit. It might be that there's someone else better placed, better qualified, and could do a better job. And then I would happily stand to one side for them as well. Could be you, mate. You might be.
I'm not sure yet. I think I like doing the video stuff right now. I told Ben about it. I was like, hey, I don't know. I actually don't know. I don't have the answers. I think there's too much destruction going up here up north in this Labour constituent. This whole thing basically, in Manchester, where it's fully run by Labour councillors, Labour MPs. I would like a little bit of change up here. I'm not sure. I can't really give you an answer for that, but hopefully the next general election, if everything looks good, then
you never know. We'd love to have you as a member, by the way. You know, we'd love to have you on board with us because you know you personify everything that we believe in, and you know, yeah, you'd be more than welcome.
Will you be there on next event is happening in Manchester.
Yeah, I'm not sure
Well,
yet. I doubt it simply because at the moment I still don't trust the British government to allow me back into the UK without being hassled
but
and strip searched and having things stuck in orifices and everything else. You know,
oh god.
I don't fancy that.
You since you just brought that up, I want to quickly ask you this question because I got a notification. I don't know if it was a video or a post, but I can't find it anymore on your platform. It was more to do with your nephew that something happened and he was rejected. Something I got a notification. I believe 2 days or maybe a couple hours ago or yesterday. I didn't really get time to
Oh,
watch it. What happened?
no. That was about a robbery when I owned my watch shop. That was about a robbery that took place. That goes back to 2014. So it's not actually a political video.
Mm, mm. Okay, all right.
Unrelated. Yeah, unrelated.
Unrelated. Yeah, I just thought I needed to ask you
Yeah.
that. But why are you even in Spain? I don't know why I didn't ask you that. Because I mean, there's I've watched your videos and stuff, but there's because now it's more because before you're more like you went to Spain. I was thinking,
Yeah.
okay, you went to Spain, and now you just mentioned you moved to Spain. I mean, that's more bold than going to Spain.
Many
Why that
reasons.
move?
Many reasons. First of all, we've been coming here for many, many years, and my wife always wanted to retire here, and it's always been on our mind that one day we would retire here.
One
But
sec.
with events unfolding as they did in the UK, and with the pressure that I was coming under from the authorities being pulled at Gatwick every time I flew in, being made to sit in a room, in a holding room, like I'm some kind of bloody criminal, being hassled by the authorities in general, my bank account being shut. I said to her, do you know what? Let's get out for a bit. Whilst Labour are in power, I have no wish to be in the UK. It would drive me absolutely frigging mad. I could not be around the madness of the UK right now. I think I'd probably either, oh, mate, I'd probably end up in jail because I say something that I shouldn't say, or I lose my temper. You know, I couldn't do this auditing that these people do. I couldn't do it. I'd lose my rag.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
really
You
couldn't
see,
do it.
yeah, I know, right?
And I'm too old for that. So
Mm.
you know, I do my best fighting is done from behind my camera.
Yeah, and you've been doing really well. You're walking up a lot of people,
I
including
appreciate
myself.
that. That is the game. But what you have to do is I have to make sure that I can continue to do that. Back home in the UK, I think my days were numbered before they shut me
Yeah,
down completely.
yeah, true. That's the. I think if everybody has that kind of mindset, it will be cool. Because especially if you're doing something good, you want to be able to sustain it so you can get more and more and more and more
Yeah,
people. You can wake more and more people. You don't want to get too radical because then once they shut you down, that means the millions of people who you would have reached are
they're gone.
you
You
know
can't
gonna
do it anymore.
yeah
Exactly,
you
exactly.
literally took their chances of being awake from them because
Uh,
you got too radical.
and my only aim really all along here is just to be a normal person. Just
Yeah,
as normal can be, to show everyone else out there that's normal that actually the things that happen in our country are not normal. They're anything but normal, and they're a long way from being normal. And the
yeah,
more you point that out to other normal people, the faster you wake them up.
yeah, true. And I think the fact that you want to be normal is just like that's fine. That's gone now. It's long gone, Paul. You will never be normal anymore. I'm sure when you walk around in Manchester or Liverpool or somewhere, people recognize you, and you can't walk in a way where you like you just walk in to do stuff. You either have to keep checking your shoulder because that has happened to me. And I mean, now I can't even some places I don't even want to go. I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm not going
yeah.
there. If I am, I want to make sure I'm going around with my guys and make sure like, hey, bro, just look around
Keep
me.
your
That's
eyes
it.
out. Yeah.
And sometimes I want to be normal as well, but
Yeah,
that has
we
been
are
taken
normal
away.
people. Yeah, I mean, the thing is that the good news is where I live now in Spain is, you know,
Yeah,
the British expat community out here are very much on board. The reason that a lot of them are here is the same as me. They just had to get away from the madness.
yeah, yeah.
You
And
know,
I think, don't you think that kind of just does us this? Is it doesn't do us any favors because if more people run away, I mean, what will happen then? We can't all go away and be making videos. I mean, some of us have to stay here because the tax money or the rent money or whatever you're paying now is not going to the economy here.
No, I still pay my taxes at home.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, so I'm still paying my taxes at home. Yeah, I've still got property back home in the UK. I'm still paying taxes back home in the UK, still paying national insurance and VAT back home in the UK. So, yeah, I agree.
So it's a good arrangement then.
Well, it is, but the thing is that I've spoken about the jigsaw before, and the jigsaw is, was it 68 million pieces in that jigsaw? There's 68 million people in the UK, and if every one of us was a piece in a jigsaw, we make up the one big jigsaw. Now, every single person in that jigsaw has a role to play. It might be a big role like Ben Habib's. It might be a role like yours or mine. It might be a role as minor as just informing your next door neighbour.
That's right. Yeah, true.
But every single person in that jigsaw has a job to do.
That's right.
I'm doing my job. You're doing your job. Ben Habib's doing his job. Unfortunately, there are far too many people out there.
Yeah, we need
far
more.
too many pieces of that jigsaw that are doing absolutely nothing. And they are often the ones that will criticise others who are doing something.
Yeah, and I think sometimes what I try to let the viewers, my viewers, and the people who watch me, is I want them to, because obviously the reason why you're watching me or you just discovered me is because you are coming to this great awakening that's happening. So if I'm interviewing somebody and you see the things that they're uttering out, don't be too harsh, because 2-3 years ago, or maybe a couple months ago, or maybe a couple days ago, you would have been that person as well if you didn't get to where you are today.
Yeah.
And I think it's all about giving them time and let them develop, and also, being given the truth and receive the word. But it's been lovely having you on. It's always a blast having you on, and
it's a pleasure,
it'll be cool to do it in real life, but that's gonna come soon. But hopefully our third podcast can be done in real life, because
absolutely. You have to come out to Spain for the weekend.
Yeah, I think for sure we can do it. I mean, maybe the next couple months to come, next year, we can get that done.
Yeah, anytime.
So then I was born in a refugee camp in Tanzania. At the time, there's so many people ran there. A lot of people were going there, real refugees, after being butchered from the civil war that erupted in Congo. My parents applied for asylum to all the countries. They waited. Now, then I was born in that camp, the same camp. I'm talking tents. I was born there. Now, we're waiting and waiting. For 14 years, we were waiting. Now, of course, these guys could choose to wait as well, but these guys hijacked that and they come in the country illegally. Now, the media will brand you guys racist, far right, the worst people here, the worst group here. How come the good group didn't invite me to go speak over there? So I call this the greatest awakening, because all the way from over there, there's hundreds of people turning up. It's a Saturday, for God's sake. They could easily go around and watch football and have fun, go on a date, do all the lovely stuff they could do. But instead, they want to stand here, rain or not. They're ready to send a message, and I believe the message will be received today. Thank you so much.
For anybody in the back, I struggled to hear this young man's story. What incredible, brave young man.
Oh yes, I agree.
British Christian values.